All right, we'll get this meeting of the City of International Falls started for Tuesday, January 16th, 2024. If you'd all join me in pledging allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Looking around, I see everyone still has their jackets on or their sweatshirts. Good choice. Oh my gosh, it's been so chilly outside. We'll call this meeting to order. Roll call. All members of the council are present. First item on the agenda is to approve the agenda. To the best of my knowledge, we don't have any additions or deletions, so the chair would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as written.
So moved.
We have a motion by Councillor Wegner.
Second.
Second by Councillor Buller by a hair. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
And I'll vote yes, motion carries 5-0. Go to the minutes of the January 2nd regular city council meeting. Chair would entertain a motion to approve those.
I'll move.
We have a motion by Councillor Kaler. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councillor Wegner by a hair. Very close.
I'll sit out the next couple.
Okay.
All right.
Fair enough. All right, so we have a motion by Councillor Kaler, second by Councillor Wegner. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
I'll vote yes, motion carries 5-0. Next, we have the minutes of Monday, January 8th. That's the committee of the whole. Chair would entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion by Councillor Holden.
You ain't gonna miss out again, is he?
Do we have a
Got that
second?
one, didn't I? Yeah.
Do we have a second?
A second.
We have a second by Councillor Buller. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
I'll vote yes, motion carries 5-0. Next, we have a resolution approving the transfers and claims, accounts payable. We have monies going from transfers going to the Permanent Improvement Fund of $66,666.66, coming evenly between the 601 water and the 603 sewer in the amount of $33,333.33. We have funds going to the Reserve for Capital Outlay, $20,567.25. That's coming from the 601 Water Fund, $14,693, and from the 603 Sewer in the amount of $5,874.25. For total transfers of $87,233.91. International Falls regular claims of $1,981,637.06. International Falls Public Library claims $8,148.39, and Airport Commission major capital claim of $26,121.20 for a total amount payable of $2,015,906.65. Chair would entertain a motion to adopt the resolution.
I'll move.
We have a motion by Councillor Kaler,
Second.
second by Councillor Wegner. Discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Aye.
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 And I'll vote yes, motion carries 5-0. Next, we go to audience. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to bring anything forward?
Hello.
Hi, Bob.
Hey, and thank you for your time. This is just an informational opportunity. I'm Bob DeGrosse. I'm a resident of International Falls. I'm also a club member of the Rotary Club of International Falls, and I'm involved with the club's Welcoming Community Initiative Working Group. You probably remember that last winter we had a speaker series that we conducted that talked about demographics, what welcoming community initiatives are, what other communities in Northeast Minnesota and through the state are having conversations like this and everything like that. This winter, we're going to be working with the Norspan Foundation out of Duluth, and they've selected our club and our community as an inclusion learning cohort. And one of the things that we're going to be doing on February 1st is we're going to be holding a workshop where we're inviting members of the community to come in and help us participate in a survey, really looking at, what things are working well in our community, what things can be improved, what things do we have in place to continue to grow and evolve as a welcoming community, what things should we consider putting in place in the future. And so I'm just coming to invite you to come to that survey if you have the time and if you're available and everything. And then also we'll be doing a series of workshops through the remainder of the winter into early summer on about a monthly basis and things, where we're really encouraging all different members of our community that represent different groups and factions and things to come in and provide feedback and things. So I just wanted to come and invite you in person to come to this opportunity. I did send an email that I know they'll distribute to each of you individually as well, but that's all I had.
And that's February 1st, and I believe it's 5:30 to 7, if I read the email correctly?
5:30 to 7 in the Commons at the Rainy River campus of Minnesota North College. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Any questions for Bob?
And it said there'll be a lunch.
There will be some food there. Yeah, exactly.
case.
Yeah,
All right.
That always
I'll-
draws
I'll
people,
hold
right?
till 5:30 to eat that night.
yeah.
All right,
All right.
thank you so much, Bob.
Yeah, thank you.
Bob. Thank
Take care.
you.
Anybody else from the audience have anything to bring forward? All right, there will also be an opportunity later in the meeting. We'll go down to the consent agenda. We have a handful of licenses. Bake of the Woods LLC, restaurant license, Jason Mayfield, snowplow license, and Lars Lumber and Plowing LLC, a snowplow license. We also have approve and allow necessary expenses for Human Resources Safety Director to attend Employment Law Institute, May 20th through the 21st in St. Paul, and traveling and training expenses for public work staff, which was on a outline of your packet. There's probably about 8 or 9 different educational opportunities there. Chair would entertain a motion for the consent agenda.
So move.
We have a motion by Counselor Buller. We have a
Second.
Second by Counselor Wagner. Call the question.
Aye.
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 I'll vote yes, motion carries 5-0. Next, we go to new business. We have the mayoral proclamation declaring January 28th through February 3rd, 2024 as Catholic Schools Week at St. Thomas Aquinas School. Chair would entertain a motion to approve that proclamation.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion by Counselor Holden.
I'll
We
second.
have a second by Counselor Kaler. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
And I'll vote yes, motion carries 5-0. Next, we go to order of removal or repair in the matter of a hazardous building at 916 6th Street. City Attorney.
Yes, Mayor and Council. So this is a property, public record. It's owned by Delbert Ernst. I'm not sure if I'm
Ernest.
pronouncing it correctly. Ernest. That's been a difficult house to deal with. The fire marshal was able to finally get in there to do an inspection and did condemn it as a non-livable, non-habitable building or structure. So it has already been condemned. This would allow, once we serve him, to correct the issues within 60 days. If not, we're asking that the council approve that it can be removed.
Okay. Any questions for the city attorney? Hearing none, Chair would entertain a motion to approve that order of removal or repair.
I'll make that
We have
motion.
a motion by Counselor Holden. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Counselor Buller. Discussion? How many remove and repair do we have on the books right now? Just waiting to,
Outstanding?
Yeah.
3.
3?
One of them, the Isency House was approved for removal or repair. We sent it to get served. We weren't actually able to serve him until after the first of the year, after it went tax forfeiture. So we'll be dealing with the county on that one. That one won't be going forward based on the order for removal or repair that the city council authorized. The other one is the Wilcox Garage that expires on January 30th, and then this one.
So we'll talk afterwards. It's not a
Okay.
council matter. I'm just confused on that, on the timing, but, so we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Aye.
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 And I will vote yes. Motion carries 5-0. Next is just correcting the appointments to the Public Works Committee. Oversight on my part, when we put together my appointments, the appointments were supposed to leave the things as they were for last year, leaving Counselor Kaler and Counselor Buller on Public Works. So legitimately just fixing that appointment. So the chair would entertain a motion to have Counselor Buller and Counselor Kaler on Public Works.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion by Counselor Holden. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor Wagner. And discussion?
Just that I thought I was fired. Then I was over it by the time the meeting was over, and I was looking at free time. Then Betty calls me the next day.
Sorry about that. Well, the one thing that you said when I asked you about appointments earlier at the end of last year,
I
is
ain't
whatever
leaving.
you do, don't take me off Public Works, and that's where the mistake was. So
I thought I was
apologize.
getting a lesson teaching, huh? So, all good.
We have a motion and a second. I'll call the question.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
And I'll vote yes, motion carries 5-0. Next, we have, consider the appointments for the North Cooch Sanitary District. I still have no one to fill Brian Briggs's seat. Robert Thompson has spoke with Callie at the sanitary district, said that he is interested in serving again, so I would reappoint Robert Thompson for the sanitary district, and until I find someone to replace Brian, we're going to leave Brian on there, but I am going to actively seek someone to replace him, and him and I have already had that conversation a couple times over, so. Chair would entertain a motion to approve those appointments.
So moved.
We have a motion by Counselor Buller. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor Holden. Discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
And I'll vote yes, motion carries 5-0. Consider adoption of the resolution approving a 4-day application and permit for a 1 to 4 day temporary on-sale liquor license for the Rotary Club at the annual men's hockey tournament March 15th through the 17th, 20243, which I don't think is the right year. We're just going to go with 2024. Chair would entertain a motion to approve that.
I'll move.
We have a motion by Counselor Wagner.
I'll second.
Second by Counselor Buller. Any discussion?
Just, I'm used to this coming like the Monday before, so,
Well,
yeah, I got a little head start this time.
well, and the neat thing is the last couple of years since COVID, I mean, it seems to have gotten considerably more organized. I've been really impressed with what they're doing. I really hope that the folks that are utilizing the Cary Park Arena this year really see what our Public Works has been able to do to keep that arena up and maintained. I hope they see value in the city maintaining our own equipment, so.
And I'll just, after all these years, it's still going, Mr. Myers. This is still going after all the small plans, eh? We'll leave the details of the small plans for another day.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. We'll call the question.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
And I'll vote yes, motion carries 5-0. Next, resolution for approving an application for an exempt permit to sell raffle tickets for the First Evangelical Lutheran Church with drawing to be held April 15th, 2024. Chair would entertain a motion.
So moved.
We have a motion by Counselor Buller. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Counselor Kaler. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
I'll vote yes, motion carries 5-0. Next, we have two promotions, two sergeants to investigator and one patrolman to sergeant. Chief, you want to come up and just kind of discuss where we're at and what's happening?
Thanks, Mayor, Council. I'll try to fit in this chair. So, per your knowledge already, we did test for sergeant, investigator, and we opened for patrol officer. Actually, our public safety meeting, I was briefing the group that we were lucky enough to have 7 applicants for the patrol officer position out of areas. So we're backgrounding 4 of them right now with the intention of most likely taking the 2 on as soon as possible, and then we're looking at possibly a 3rd vacancy in our department in February. So we're sitting a little better than I had hoped in December. So I was cautiously optimistic then, but I'm really optimistic now. Given that we also tested for sergeant and investigator. There were 2 eligible sergeants to test for investigator. Basically in our department, the chain of command, you test, you have to attain the rank below the one you're testing for. So a patrol officer can test for sergeant, sergeant can test for investigator, and so on. The two sergeants that tested were eligible for investigator, and like I was telling the group earlier, we're lucky the 2 working now have such extensive history in law enforcement and experience. Dane Olson has been with us since 2007, and Scott Worley has worked for Beltrami County and worked for us for several years. 2 really good officers and really good investigators. Excuse me. The patrol officer moving to sergeant, Griffin Offerdale, again another one, been with us for several years. Just an outstanding officer and really good heart. He's going to be really good for our department in a leadership position. But we're going to establish a roster for sergeants as well, and that's what that test did. So as we hire the new officers and they're trained and they hit the street, we'll be able to then come forward with promotions for you guys as we fill the staff vacancies. So the goal is, March, April, fully staffed, and then have everyone fully promoted and learning these new positions.
That is a different conversation than what we were having in December, and I love where we're at. Really quick, I was under the impression, and again, I don't try to get too terribly deep in your operation because that's what you do. But 100%, I thought we only had 1 investigator before. Is that accurate?
We did, and when we made the transition to the full-time model, what we found was we had the 1 investigator. He was also filling shifts. So he was on that model where it was 4 days on, 4 days off. And the intention was always to have the 2 investigators, so we'd have them 7 days a week. But what we found was there was no sense in testing for all these positions until we knew who was leaving and everything was stabilized come January 1st. So the plan was always to have the 2 investigators 7 days a week on a day shift, filling day shifts as needed per the full-time transition, but also just conducting investigations because as Pete knows, when you're running a 4-on, 4-off, stuff can kind of get dropped off. It'll be a smooth transition to have a 7-day-a-week investigating position. So it's just going to help the more complex crimes. You're not going to see a lapse in, well, he's off now, we got to wait 4 days for him to come back on. It's just going to be a continuous process.
I would think, especially with these 2 investigators, to have one of them around every day for leadership and direction, I think would be excellent. And like I said, the 3 of them, I know well, worked with them, good officers. And I'd also like to mention that I mentioned to Dane and him and Shane Trainer showed up at the hoop shoot on Sunday when I asked them to come help. So
Shane's another one I'm really...
Yeah, I mean, they're good. And I just said, I think this never would have happened if we wouldn't have switched the model. I mean, I'd see, and I just, from personal knowledge, know a couple of these guys are going to school at Ely, and Ely's a town where they're given a bonus of a canoe, I saw in the paper somewhere.
No, I think you're right. And we didn't offer a canoe, but they like the area.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And that's the guys fresh out of school. We probably appeal to them. And I know who their friends are too. So, and they like what we have. So that's good. I'm glad to see it's working out what we thought.
So just a follow-up to the other question, if we're having two investigators, I just want to understand, so they're going to be working the same things, handing off information?
Theoretically,
between the two?
the call volumes show that we can support two. Excuse me. How complex the crimes are getting now are, we're seeing the sergeants are busy enough handling the day-to-day calls. And if something more advanced pops up, they just can't do it, right? So that was the goal of getting the former investigator in the position 5 days a week. As we transition to the full-time model, it only made sense to have them on for 4 days, 12-hour shifts. That way they can also fill shifts if one of the day shift guys is off. And then we also have an investigator on all the time.
Excellent.
And that will make up to borrow from my fellow counselor back in the day. When I started, there was shifts would be of sergeant and two patrolmen, right? So they had the sergeant there to guide and lead, and we'll be able to have some of that going on. So I think that'll be good.
Excellent. Any other questions for the chief? All right, well, let's take these separately then. So the first two sergeants, two investigator, the promotion would be to, Sergeant Dane Olson and Sergeant Scott Worley, two investigator. Chair would entertain a motion to approve that promotion.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion by Counselor Holden. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor Wigner. Discussion? I'm really excited that we're in a different spot than what we
Me
thought
too.
we were going to be.
Them too.
But we're still going to have ongoing conversations on that other situation too. So we have a motion and a second. Call the question.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
And I will vote yes. Then we have one patrolman, Officer Griffin, offered all to sergeant. Chair would entertain a motion for that promotion.
I'll move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Counselor Kaler and Counselor Holden. Discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
I gotta vote aye, he's my neighbor.
I'll vote aye because we live in the same town. Andy's a great officer. Thank you, Chief. Greatly appreciate it. All right, we'll go to Budget and Finance Committee recommendation. We had a audit engagement letter from Schwinner and Winter for the year ending 2023. Chair would entertain a motion to move forward with working with Schwinner and Winter.
I'll move.
We have a motion by Counselor Kaler, an
Second.
immediate second by Counselor Buller. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
And I will vote yes, motion carries 5-0. Next, Committee of the Whole recommendation, consider the petition for vacation of alleyway from Dave Hebig, which ultimately is Shannon's Incorporated. City Administrator, you want to just give a brief background on this?
I can, Mayor, thank you. But Matt, do you want to start, or would you like me to give a brief? Okay, Matt is here on behalf of Shannon's as well, if we'd
Okay.
like. But as you can tell, or as you can see from the documentation, I believe it was November 21st that I was in receipt of, and I've been working closely with the building official, zoning officer in regards to this request to vacate an alleyway adjacent to the property. This is property that the city had just sold them. There's 4 lots that we had just sold them. And on the other side of this alleyway that they're requesting vacation is city-owned property, which houses the current Little League ball fields over in what was the old South Falls area. And so they're requesting, as you can see in his request here, that be vacated, and then they're also further asking if it is vacated, they'd be interested in purchasing our half of that alleyway as well. So, you know, myself and Building and Zoning, Myers, and we talked to the Director of Public Works. Ted and I did go out and also meet with Matt and Dave and walk to the property. within this property that they purchased, there was an agreement where they were going to be clearing some of it, and they cleared a little over the line. So we've been speaking with them in regards to how to fix that, go back within their property lines, and create the buffer and things that was requested of them during that sale. So, just as we walked the property, then they asked, well, is there a chance that the city would entertain a vacation? So that's why it is here before us today.
Okay. And did you want to come in and speak on behalf of the,
I have nothing further on that, pretty much
okay.
got it right on.
Any questions from the council? I went out there, about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago before the snow fell, which is crazy to say that in December. But I went out there and I looked, and it looks like there is vehicles, and correct me if I'm wrong, that are utilizing that alley coming out the back. Is that accurate in some capacity?
Not the recently purchased.
Okay. Okay. And the tree line, you can definitely see of where it's been cut down, and I guess my concern would be access to the property. And I believe that that's one of the things that Kelly had stated, that we would have a problem having access to the property.
The concerns that the city staff has had is that if we do develop the street, which is where the warming house is for the old hauler rink, if that ever gets developed between 22nd Street and going through, we would not have good access to that property any longer. So the staff concerns are is, what would we do if these areas?
Can I ask you to, I'm sorry, Kelly, we've got media and folks online, and they can't hear you without talking into the microphone.
No problem.
Thank you,
That,
sorry.
Basically what it was is we have concerns, the staff, that if Main Avenue is brought through from 22nd Street through, that is a dedicated road there, and if we do that, we have concerns over the access to the property, where we would end up parking these vehicles in the future. So use of that property is a little bit of a concern to the staff of what we would do in that case.
So what is the rest of the process on this? If we move forward with vacation, what is the process there? If we don't move forward with vacation, what is the process there?
Sure, okay. You can- you're all right.
So the first step is for the council to determine if it's beneficial and you want to move forward with a vacation. If you don't, we can simply deny the vacation, determine it's not expedient or in the best interests of the public as a whole. If you decide you want to go forward and entertain a vacation, you're not saying you're going to approve it, because technically you can't approve it without having a public hearing. So if you decide you want, that it is expedient, you want to move forward with it, you would be directing the city administrator to publish, I want to say, I don't have the rule in front of me, I think it's 4 weeks. The last one, at least 10 days prior to that public hearing. You have the public hearing, get the public input, and then you make a decision at that hearing, either to approve or deny it. And the standards that you're looking at is potentially adjacent landowners, such as yourselves, but also the best interest of the public as a whole. If it's going to promote or increase or do something good for it, are the two main factors that you're looking for.
And I guess in the knowledge that I have of it, I don't see any public interest in vacating the alley. In fact, hearing Kelly, it sounds like there's less public interest, and it actually could be harmful to the city in the long run.
It's just a concern, Mayor, that what would we do if this happened? I mean, we're always looking toward growth and responsibility of the city, and that would be our concern. I mean, you're looking at, if Main Avenue goes through, we've had some concerns over 22nd Street as far as hooking up storm sewer drainage coming out of there, different utilities to create a loop. There's possibilities that we're gonna maybe, and hopefully we do have to do something like that, and we wanna be able to utilize what we have in the same breath, so.
Okay.
We do have some concerns over it, and that is the concern, is if you really think about what goes through there and you look at the right-of-way, basically the fire hydrant is right at the beginning of where the cars park. If you really, I should have probably brought a better map for you, but basically, if that road goes through, the right-of-way is within that barrier. I don't know where you'd put those people to utilize that park.
Okay. Any thoughts from the council?
Just, one of my thoughts or concerns is, I think we need to have a buffer between the ball fields and what we have going on there. Whether we put in trees or whatever, just for aesthetics and safety reason, and also going through, I think the alley part you are is like where they're going on to like the ball field, is that what you were talking about?
I was actually,
I noticed that too, if that's what you're, but I think that was our staff,
yeah.
maybe,
Oh, okay.
going to our ball field.
Okay, sounds good. Any other thoughts? All right, well, the chair would entertain a motion to approve or deny the vacation request.
Motion to deny the vacation request.
We have a motion to deny the vacation request from Counselor Wagner.
Second.
We have a second by Counselor Holden. Discussion?
I would say also whatever's been, trees that have been taken down, we should have them replant, restore what it was, because in the original sales agreement, that buffer was supposed to be there. Those trees were supposed to be left.
Okay.
And use of that park is important.
Okay, and so if this passes, if we move forward with the denial, then what is the next step in this process?
That's it.
That's it.
Okay,
And it would be in the form of a resolution
Right.
that you're in, it would be stated for the reasons of, purposes of our personal lack of access to our property, in concern of future use of our own property is what I'm hearing here. And so we would need that stated in the resolution.
so if we move forward with the denying the vacation, will we have a resolution before us the next week, or is this making the resolution and everything together?
I would recommend we get the resolution together today, simply because it has to be acted on within 60 days, and we're
Yeah.
very close to that 60 days.
We're at the end of that right now.
Excellent.
Can I make a comment on?
Absolutely, please come forward, yep.
So, in regards to Kelly's concern about blocking access for city to maintain their buildings and stuff, they currently already have access through the corner gate of their property. So you'd still maintain that access, so there would be no blocking access to obtain to that concession stand and the ball fields. And also on the opposite side of that alleyway, as he spoke about running utilities through there, that's already vacated. So really, that's a dead-end alley of just that one block area. That would be vacated.
Kelly's saying that area is not vacated.
No, it's vacated to the halfway point, Mayor and Council. It's, you do have that map in your packet. Basically, it's vacated to the end of that property, but it stops right at the dead end on, looks like this is
Correct,
where your
yep.
main building is.
Yep.
We are dead-ended on, so it is a dead-end alley, but the concern is along Main, which is out here. And if this is developed, which is in front of the building, we worry about the access on the backside.
Okay. Okay. Anything else? I'm sorry.
No, I just
Not to
wanted
cut
to-
you off.
Yeah, no, that's fine, but I just wanted to say that there still is city access to the property on both sides, and we're only asking for a small vacation, because the alley all the way through is already vacated,
Okay,
just
All
that small last chunk.
okay, appreciate that, thank you.
You want me to read it?
Yeah.
Please,
I have a draft resolution in front of me.
okay.
We can quick print it, or I can read it so that you can hear what it's going to say. How would you like to do that?
Let's first vote on whether the alley is gonna be denied, the vacation is denied, and then I'll open it up for you to be able to read the resolution that you have. All right, any other discussion on the alley vacation? Then we will call the question.
Aye.
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 And I'll vote yes, motion carries 5-0. So then I'll hand off to the city attorney for potential resolution that we would be acting upon.
Sure. So it reads, resolution receiving and denying petition for a vacation of street in the city of International Falls, portion of 3rd Avenue, 20th Street between blocks 1 and 8, Fairview addition to Couchiching. Whereas the city council is authorized and empowered to accept petitions and has sole and exclusive authority to vacate or discontinue the use of public grounds, streets, alleys, and highways within the city in accordance with provisions in the Home Rule Charter, Article 6, Sections 96 and 97. And whereas the zoning administrator has received a petition to vacate an 80-foot wide street, that portion of 3rd Avenue, 20th Street between blocks 1 and 8, plat of Fairview addition to Couchiching. And whereas the petitioner is proposing to work to redevelop the site that will require construction of permanent improvements, and said petitioner to proceed with construction as soon as reasonably possible in 2024. And whereas in Section 96 of the Charter, the City Council shall thereupon, if they deem expedient that the matter be proceeded with, order the petition to be filed with the City Administrator, who shall give notice by publication in the official paper of the city for 4 weeks, at least once a week, that said petition will be heard and considered by the City Council on a certain day therein specified, not less than 10 days from the expiration of said publication. And whereas the City Council in its sole discretion has deemed it not expedient to proceed with the vacation. Hold on. I have to fix my typo. Whereas the City Council, in its sole discretion, has determined that the vacation will not benefit the public interest because it will deny access to the property located beyond the vacated area, making the property of less value and unusable, including but not limited to adjacent T-ball fields owned by the city and used by the public. Now therefore be it resolved that such petition for vacation is hereby denied, and the portion of 3rd Avenue, 20th Street between blocks 1 and 8, plat of Fairview addition to Couchiching, Minnesota is not vacated. Be it further resolved that the mayor and city administrator are hereby authorized to sign all documents necessary to effectuate the intent of this resolution.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Like the Micro Machines girl.
She got me beat out there.
All right,
That's good reading.
she had it memorized.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So at this time, Chair would entertain a motion to approve the resolution that was just read by the city attorney.
I'll move.
We have a motion by Councilor Kaler. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Holden. Discussion? Call the question?
Aye.
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 And I'll vote yes, motion carries 5-0. Any other business to come before the council at this time? Hearing none, we'll go to the reports of the administrator, attorney, and department heads. City administrator?
I have nothing additional, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay. City attorney?
I have nothing unless you want further clarification on the Eisensie property.
Yeah, I guess I'm kind of confused on how that works out, and now we have to start the process again in some capacity?
Yeah, so when you initiate legal proceedings, such as that one, which it would eventually be a legal proceeding, I can't file what's called a notice of lis pendens, which is Latin for defect in title, basically, or a notice of interest in title, basically. So because he didn't get served, that didn't get perfected, and I could not file and record in land records that notice of lis pendens, which means the county was not properly put on notice not to move forward with the forfeiture.
So they were that close to forfeiture at the,
No. Eisensie, I think, came, was it maybe October?
Okay.
They go for forfeiture December. That's not actually perfected and done until January. Mr. Eisensie, I don't want to go into too much specifics with
You're
him.
right, I don't even.
But he was out of town, getting some help, kind of.
Okay.
So he didn't return to the area until late December, and they weren't able to get him served until January, after the county perfected their forfeiture that occurred technically in November, didn't perfect until January.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, sounds good. It makes it considerably more cumbersome now to go into the next level of things that we've been trying to not do but sometimes things happen.
I saw this one coming when we started dealing with this one,
Fair enough. I guess I did not see this one coming. I thought this was going to be pretty standard, but I guess we never know when someone's house is going up for forfeiture or anything, so.
It is published. So we kind of do.
I didn't know.
Pay attention to that.
All right. So, department heads. Chief? Kelly? All right. Anybody? All right, we'll go to the fire EMS monthly report is in your packet. There is a wonderful monthly report or yearly report for the police department, along with a monthly report and the public works annual report. Report will go to the reports of the mayor, council committees, boards and commissions. Anybody have anything to report? Please.
We had a sewer meeting today, North Cooch, and elected new officers. And of course, you talked about Brian. And we also had a bylaw update that will help this, because the February, January deal, we're gonna get that changed, so it'll be easier for the appointments and.
So it would go back to January 1st?
Yes, yeah.
Huh,
Yeah,
it's really funny.
yeah. Also, today, we had the inaugural Public Safety Committee meeting, which went very well. Chief Kochik was there. Fire Chief Adam Manassa is the chairman, and Mitch is the recording secretary, I guess. And we had a good meeting. Like Chief Kochik said, we talked about the new patrol officers and things moving forward, and a few other things that Adam had that will probably be coming before council at some point here, and the chiefs too. So, but it was good. And, we're moving the time, Betty, to 2 o'clock. It works better for everyone else, so, right, Mike?
Yep, 2 o'clock.
So future meetings will be at 2, February 20th at 2 o'clock.
Excellent. Any other boards or commissions? All right. I don't have anything today at all, nothing. Except for the Bob DeGrosse thing. I got that email today, and that is February 1st at 5:30 to 7 at Rainy River College North. So, anybody in the audience have anything to bring forward? All right, yes?
I believe Christina looks like she has her hand up.
She does not have a hand.
Doesn't have it up? Okay.
Well, I think that might be the most.
She's saying stop, maybe
Okay.
stop.
Okay, fair enough.
I asked.
You asked her?
Saying
Okay,
stop.
good. Thank you.
Correspondence, notice from the Minnesota Public Utilities Commission, Department of Homeland Security, a FEMA letter approving the city's application to be in the National Flood Insurance Program, Cooching County Board of Commissioners minutes from both December 26th and January 2nd, and the League of Minnesota Cities, March 7th, Day on the Hill. And that just jogged my memory. I did have an opportunity to speak with our lobbyist, and he is going to put together a time to meet with the city council on Zoom to discuss our priorities this year. So we just have to get that date set up, and as soon as that happens, I'll make sure you guys are knowledgeable on what that is. Next regular city council meeting is going to be Monday, February 5th at 5:30. Coincidentally, that morning, I am going to be in the cities. It is 100% my anticipation to be back by noon, so I should not miss that meeting, but depending on what the roads are,
You might want to warn me by noon then, if you're not going to be back.
okay, I will.
Read into that what you mean.
You knew by 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
All right, have nothing else before us. We do have a EDA meeting directly behind this. This meeting is adjourned.